Let's change an iPhone 5C screen. iPhone 5 and 5S are almost the same.
I have a defected iPhone 5C screen here that doesn't work when I touch the upper right hand corner. So I went ahead and bought this one off eBay for about $45 and it just arrived. And I'm going to show you how to change it out. You're going to need some tools, so make sure if you do go on eBay or online, Amazon or whatever, and buy you a new screen, that it comes with some tools. Some sellers will send you the tools needed. And here we go, let's get started. We're going to unscrew the 2 screws at the bottom. And what I've done here is I've set up a piece of tape. Let me show you real quick. I've set up a piece of tape right here to put all the screws. So the bottom screws will go on the bottom. And if there's screw, what you're doing is having a pattern here. So if you're taking a screw out from the left side, you'd put it here. It just helps you reference. Take a razor blade, and what you're going to do is insert it on the side and pop it up. Sometimes some of these screen sets will give you a little suction cup, but it hardly works if your screen is cracked, and that's going to be your case most of the time. Okay, go ahead and pry the little clips, and there's 2 little clips, and there's one here and one here. If you put the razor blade in there and just pry up, you'll feel it unclip. Okay, now we're inside of here. There goes my screen. You see it's ghost buttons just acting crazy. I can't deal with it no more. Take out the upper right hand screw, and again you're gonna place it on your tape. The only one that's not magnetic is that upper right hand one, and my tool is actually magnetic, so the screws will stick to it. So I'm gonna place that like I showed you on the pattern where it belongs. I'll show you as soon as I got all 4 of them real quick. Okay, take off the 4 screws. That's the second one, and here's another one. So all 4 have been unscrewed, and that's where your screen is tied into. I'm gonna go ahead and lift this little metal plate up. Oh, having trouble. Gotta unscrew some more. There it goes. That'd be my 4th one. And take the plate off. What I've done is put the correct screws in the pattern. You got 4 there. The upper right hand, you gotta unclip. I'm using a pry tool that I have. You could use the razor blade. Just be real soft with it. Be real careful. You don't want to give it too much pressure. They're so delicate in here. Even with a pry tool, it's a little bit, you just gotta work. Here goes the next step. We're still using this little Phillips, and we're gonna take off the speaker. 2 screws, both different sizes. Make sure you use that reference on the tape, because the longer one goes up top, the shorter one goes on the bottom. Okay, you got a little clip here. I'll try to zoom in on it where I'm doing it at. There's just a little clip right here. You need to get under there and pop it out. You see that? I popped it out. Now the speaker will come out. And just shake it, get it out. There's your speaker. You got that out. Here's that. Got 2 of those. And you're gonna pry this up. It's nice to have a razor blade. Mine's been taken off before, obviously, because it came right off. Sometimes you need a razor blade to let me give you a close-up of what's going on here. I can't even find the camera. Okay, there we go. What you're doing is sliding a razor blade underneath there to try to pry it up, but mine's already been taken off, so it's real loose. Alright, next you're going to take your button off, and sometimes if it's hard, mine's already been done before, obviously, but take a razor blade and just work at it. Take your time. You want to keep the rubber around it, and I'll try to show you a close-up of what I'm talking about here. If you could see that, there's actually like a little band of rubber around this button, and you don't want to lose that. So take a razor blade, slide under it, and slowly pry it. You like to keep that on there. It's real nice to keep your button in place. Next, you're gonna, there's 2 ways you got that part pried up. It's pretty much gonna come right up with this metal plate, so you'll see what I mean. This little piece, the little rubber microphone piece, whatever you want to call it, and you're gonna insert it, and you're gonna turn it counterclockwise, rock it back and forth, forward clockwise and counterclockwise. Once you've got that inserted, you could fold these over. When you do buy your screen, just make sure that you do have your plastic ring and your proximity sensor in place. That'll really help you a lot if you're a beginner. And then there's 2 little dots there where your little button goes into place, so you don't have to try to figure it all out. And if you did leave this attached how you want it, make sure it's flush right there. I think that's good enough. Gonna place this in place. That's sitting good. I'm gonna take my screws where I've laid them out. Let me show you real quick. Pattern here. I've laid everything down where it goes. I know it's hard to see because there's a magnetic background template plate that I've got here, but they're all in place, and I've got them in order where they go, from left to right and all that. And once you've done an iPhone 5C screen, you should be able to do an iPhone 5 screen. It's really simple. Once you've done one, you'll do them all. So it's definitely a good experience to get to trying these. All right, let's start moving these screws in place. And oh, don't ever screw them in very tight. You just leave them pretty loose. You'll strip the screws out. It does not take a lot of pressure to screw these in. If you feel it stop, just stop. You've got it. And it's really nice to have a magnetic screwdriver if you're going to be doing a ton of these, because you could imagine these screws just flying right off your screwdriver, bouncing across the room. I actually have a giant magnet. I'll show that to you, because I do these all the time. And this will pick up, I got this out of a blown speaker. It'll pick up any metal screw that goes into my carpet. This is awesome. So if you're a tech, this really helps out. I'm trying to give you guys some tips and tactics. It's never too late to stop learning tricks to get these screens on. And you could always learn something from somebody, no matter who you think you are. Yep. There's that one. Try to go as fast as I can here. But just in case, you guys can fast forward or pause. Trying to turn the screen towards you so you can see everything. There's that. And we're going at it. We're almost done. And if you could do this yourself, you'll save a ton of money. Because I think the going rate on these is about 150 bucks installed. Or go buy a new phone, which you don't want to do that. That'll cost you $600 or $700. Alright, I got all those in place. And next we're going to put in our speaker. We got a metal plate here. The metal plate that goes over it. I'm going to lay my speaker in here, and I'm going to try to zoom in here to show you guys. Right there is a little notch. You see that? That's got to be inserted into the rubber gasket on the iPhone 5C. If you don't do that, your microphone is going to be very muffled. So make sure you get that in there just right. And a good way to know that you got it in there right is when you lay it down, and there is these two little notches, and I'll try to zoom in on it here to show you. These two little holes right there, if you could see them, there's two holes there, and they're going to go into the plastic. So make sure you got that in there. Just move it around like that. You'll feel it go in there when you, if you could feel it. It's just sitting just right. See, mine's not sitting right yet. There it goes. Now it's sitting right. And there's this little clip here. I'm going to pull this up to you also. This little notch has to go underneath the ribbon, all three ribbons. So what you're going to do is take your finger and push down on the speaker where you got it in place. Keep a finger on it, and you're going to put this underneath the ribbon. Do not go over the ribbon. You can tear it. Take your time. Have somebody help you the first time. Somebody can hold a flashlight or something. Alright. My speaker tried to pop out, but I've done so many of these that I can get it right in place. Just move your hand around like that when it's sitting nice and tight, and I think I got it in there pretty good. And there's your screw. Your long one goes on top. Give it a couple turns. Okay, then the shorter screw that goes in on your speaker right there. I told you to make sure that you know which ones go where. Just double checking, got everything down here. I think we're pretty much good to go. We're going to take this screen and pop it into its place. Let me try to get a good angle on the camera so you guys could see this. And what I do, I hold my screen in my left hand because I'm right-handed, and I place this one right over that notch. Don't push too hard, you could destroy this. You need to do it just right. Make sure it clips in. You should barely have to put so much pressure in there. You feel it, and there you go, you hear a little click. That's the hard one. This one's easy right here. You just put it in place, move your finger back and forth, got it? That one clipped in. And next, your last ribbon is your speaker, your microphone, your camera. And that's where that one's gonna go. Feel it? You hear that click? I'm gonna turn it over right here just to do. You can check it right now instead of screwing it all together, and go ahead and run a quick test so you know everything's working before you do it. Just make sure you're not distracted. You're gonna move it around, drop it, or something like that. Keep it laying on the counter, or else you can rip a ribbon. So make sure that slides real good. And now my camera does work. It didn't work before because I had a defective screen, so this is going to solve my problem. And I've gone to this screen because the screen's not in place, my button won't work. You could take a metal screwdriver, touch these two prongs together. Oh, it's because I had something on the screen. Touch those together, and with home screen, it's these two little prongs. Take a screwdriver, touch them together real quick, and you'll go back to home screen. I'm just zooming in so you can see what I was touching. It's those two little prongs right there. You can go ahead and, instead of screwing it in, like I said, you could test everything. You could check your camera real quick. See how that works. Hold it up. That's working good. Your front-facing camera. These are all things that can be affected by changing a screen. Touch the two things together. Get back to home screen. You could make a call or do a video so you could hear the microphone work just fine. But I'm pretty confident in my work because I've done so many of them. Next step, you're going to go ahead and take this metal plate right here, and you're going to lay it down. And this is how it goes. This little notch right here, the long notch, that's going to go in the upper left-hand corner. Lay your plate down, and I'm going to go. What I've done here is I've laid a prop right here to hold the screen up for me because I don't have anybody to help me hold that up. And the first screw that's going to go in is the upper left-hand corner screw. Get that in there. And this is where it really helps if you have a magnetic screwdriver. A couple turns, it got tight. That means it's in place. Going for the next screw. And this is probably a good 40-minute job if it's your first time. It might even take you longer. But go ahead and take your time. You know, there's no rush in it. If you do rush it, you could, you know how that goes. Accidents happen. Couple turns there, and I've got my screen propped up over here against this little thing so it doesn't go any further back, because the last thing you want to do is get a tear in it. Alright, a couple more screws to go and we're home free. There's that one, and there's the last screw that's barely. Right, I've got all my screws in place, everything's intact, we didn't miss anything. Do a quick head check, double check. Alright, peel the cellophane off this screen, and what you're going to want to do is what's actually happening in the front here. You're going to want to press your fingers in and just rock it back and forth, and you'll feel it snap in, and this has to be flush. Don't try putting it in if that does not go in. See, like right now I don't have this side in. It's hard to tell you, but there's these little clips that have to go in place or else you will crack the clips and your screen will not sit in right. Very important. I had a friend of mine do the first screen and he didn't know what he was doing, and there went my clips and my screen was constantly popping out. You hear that little click? One of them went in. Got that in place. Alright, I think we're golden. And once these front ones are in, there's like 1, 2, 3 over there. What I do is I lay it back down on the table on a flat surface, because if you start pushing with your fingers you can crack it. Lay it on a flat surface when you know these clips are in and just push down. Simple as that, and that's all in place. Now you can go ahead and check it all out. Check your speaker, microphone if you haven't checked it already. And there's only 2 more screws in that go in on the bottom. You don't need to watch me do that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Hope you successfully insert your screen and save a ton of money. Have a good day.